Today we're visiting Datchworth, Hertfordshire's most haunted village. We're starting our journey at Rectory Lane. Very spooky reputation. Glad it's not at night time. Don't think I'd do it in the night.
Why is that long?
I'm actually scared. Bit eerie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very wet.
It's a bit unusual with the sun out. So this is the infamous Rectory Lane.
It's eerie.
It's eerie and it's very muddy. How would you like to live there?
Not very much.
No. Dogs are barking. Maybe they've been upset by a spooky inhabitants or something.
It's spooky. It's because it's really quiet.
And it's quite a long old lane, isn't it? Yeah.
So we ain't even halfway there, are we?
No. What was that?
Bang. Did you hear it?
Yeah. What was it?
I don't know, just went boom.
Shotgun?
Oh no. No. Give me the heebie-jeebies.
So for anybody who's never had the chance to visit Rectory Lane at Datchworth, a very spooky site, here's your chance. We do it at midnight, but we haven't got any spotlights or anything, so. And we're chicken.
We are definitely chicken. I'm not liking it now and it's daytime.
So we know what happens here. This is where you come down the lane and hang a left. I think this is the old route. Yeah, it sure is. Is it?
Maybe we go up there.
I think this is the way we're supposed to go. Well, I hope this is the way.
What are you expecting to see at the top?
It's what you're expecting to see on the way.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is definitely it, Lauren. Maybe you could fill us in on a few of the details of what actually went on here.
Phantom footsteps have been heard here, and manifestations of a cart carrying the dead came along this route. Apparently, it's a grisly replay of an incident that happened in the 1760s with a family named Eve, starved to death at the poorhouse in Datchworth Green during the famine of 1762. James Eves, his wife, son and daughter all perished. Their feeble bodies were found lying on a small quantities of dirty peas and straw. Mrs. Eves was last seen crawling towards the village pond for water, but her feeble body could not carry the kettle of water back home.
Oh dear. And this is the route they used to carry the dead on the old carts up to the church. Is that right?
Yeah, their final journey was made in the cart which took their remains up Rectory Lane to All Saints Church. This is the route we're heading.
Mm.
I'm scared.
What's been actually seen along this road? Or this route?
Like the figures of the cart.
Cart carrying the dead.
And
And this is the route
heard.
it took.
Yep.
So this is the route the cart took, carrying the dead. and it manifests itself occasionally up this path.
Yeah.
Hopefully not today while we're on it. Or hopefully today while we're on it. So you'll all get a look at it. You'll get a look at us running away from it. This is the exciting bit.
Right.
Seeing Lauren running and screaming down the path with me close behind her. Yeah, so. What's really amazing is the way we came in, it was nice and sunny, and now it's flipping freezing cold, windy, grey and horrible.
That's a sign.
It's a sign that every time we come to do these films, this is the sort of thing that happens.
It's freezing. It's gone really cold. In 1998, Colton TV came to Rectory Lane to make a feature programme for London Tonight. He said to confess he found the atmosphere most unsettling.
A bit like we're finding it now.
Very much so. It is making me, like, my heart go a little bit fast.
Just watch out for the cart.
Oh, don't. This is one that's
And
making
watch
me
out they don't
nervy.
chuck us on it. That'd be more concerning.
It is unnerving.
Ah. There's the actual church. Quite a journey.
Rectory Lane was also investigated one autumn night in the 1970s by journalist Evelyn Hall-King and psychic Eileen Ison. They were researching for a magazine article about Britain's most haunted places. They were walking down Rectory Lane in the dark and rain when the psychic started moaning, whilst bent over as if she was receiving invisible blows, which was indeed what she was feeling. She received an intense psychic impression of being viciously beaten around her head and shoulders. She shouted out, "The horses are coming, can't you hear them?" The journalist surmised that her friend may have been receiving the psychic echoes of a killing carried out some 200 years earlier, when a vicious highway robber named Walter Clibborn met his end in the neighbourhood.
It's amazing, isn't it? And I just heard them horses as well.
Oh,
that was really weird. She was walking down this actual lane. I hope it's not the cart. So that's really the story of this lane.
Yeah, I'd like to get off it quick.
If you come down on a wet and windy night, there's a good chance you might run into the cart carrying the dead.
As if we don't run into it in the next 5 minutes.
Or you might get beaten about the head and things, like being robbed by Walter Clibborn, the notorious highwayman from the area. Ah. So this will be the last part of the journey.
Maybe I'll start to breathe again after.
I don't know about that. The church has a few tales.
Can't come in. Phantom footsteps have been heard here, and manifestations of a cart carrying the dead came along this route. Apparently, it's a grisly replay of an incident that happened in the 1760s with a family named Eves. Sorry.
Don't move.
A family named Eves starved to death at the poorhouse in Datchworth Green during the famine of 1762. You recording?
Yeah.
Rectory Lane was also investigated one autumn night in the 1970s by journalist Evelyn Hall King and her psychic friend Eileen Ison. They were researching for a magazine article about Britain's most haunted places. They were walking down Rectory Lane in the dark and rain when the psychic started moaning whilst bent over as if she was receiving vicious blows to her head and shoulders, which was indeed what she was feeling. She received an intense psychic impression of being viciously beaten. She shouted out, "The horses are coming, can't you hear them?" The journalist surmised that her friend had been receiving the psychic echoes of a killing which happened 200 years earlier when Walter Gibbon met his end in the neighbourhood.
When Water Clibben.
Clibben? Is it not Gibbon?
It's Clibben.
Oh no!
Yeah. Say again when Water. I can mix it. So keep you where you were.
When Walter Clibben met his end in the neighbourhood.
You want to do it again? Or are you happy with that?
It's up to you.